I've got these guests from Home on the Hill. We have Tracy and Maggie. Tell us a little bit about your work as a recreational therapist.
So how I actually got into rec therapy is I used to work at a long-term care home. So I have a background of a kinesiology, and after my degree, I just want to go into, work, right? When you're young and naive, you just want to work, right? So I kind of did that for a little bit. So I worked with seniors for a little bit, just like having activities for them. And the purpose behind an activity aids is kind of just improve or reduce some behaviors that seniors might have, like some Alzheimer's at like behaviors, right? Yelling, screaming, aggressive behavior, and just kind of lighten the mood sometimes, keeping their brain alert, cognitive, and stuff like that, right? So after that, I actually took my post-grad in rec therapy, and that's how my love for rec therapy kind of started. So when I was in rec therapy, everyone is so nice, everyone's so helpful, everyone's so cheerful, and that's basically how that kind of came from. And I loved it ever since. So I got the chance to actually work in hospitals, like in rehab programs, and now I'm working in mental health with Home of the Hills. I used to work at children's rehab, and I do a little bit of a coaching on the side too. So I did a lot of recreation stuff kind of everywhere. But how it all really, the purpose behind what I did is because I used to have a lot of issues when I was young. Mm-hmm. So I was an introvert. Yeah. And English was my second language. So I came from Hong Kong, and I was having a tough time making friends. Yeah. And I didn't really know the language. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I kind of just isolated myself to a point where I just hated life. It was not fun. Yeah. And how it all started is I actually started playing badminton. And badminton is a type of recreation, and I got really good at it. So I had a lot of self-esteem. I made a lot of friends because I just kept wanting to play and play and never leaving the club, right? And then I got to win. I was at a national athlete. Wow. I competed internationally for it. So it kind of changed my life. Building that self-confidence, building the independence, building just having friends and feeling like I belonged somewhere made a really big difference in my life. And that's what recreation has done for me. And I just kind of wanted to share that with everybody else, right? And the reason behind rec therapy is really working with anyone and using recreation as a tool to reduce or improve behaviors. And these tools could be fun, and they're unusual, and it helps participants meet their goals. And these goals are very person-centered, right? So some questions that you might have to ask are what do they like, right? What barriers they see, what are their strengths and weaknesses, and what resources are available. Who doesn't love rec therapy? Everyone I talk to really do like rec therapy because it's so you're just having fun. And when you're having fun, people are in their best behavior, right? So, and you get to kind of build rapport, when you're having fun, you get to build rapport and build that connection with people that you don't typically have in the normal life, right? At work, it's kind of boring. You talk to your coworker professionally, right? It's not fun. It's not that much fun. It's still fun.
We're really excited that we got Tracy because she is an amazing person, as you can tell from her voice. We find at Home on the Hill that recreation therapy is so important, because one of the big problems with mental illness is that you tend to self-isolate, avoid people, and not feel like you belong anywhere. And so, as Tracy said, rec therapy is perfect for that. It does draw people out and people are willing to take a step to have fun, maybe not to learn things, maybe not to do work, but to have fun. Yeah, that's a motivator. And Tracy's just so full of fun that she really reaches out to people. And I think that recreation therapy is a wonderful way to break that self-isolation and make our clients feel like they have a sense of connection, of belonging. And also it gives them an opportunity to make friends, because they do have, their groups tend to be small. And so they do get a chance to interact with each other in small groups, so that they don't feel threatened and insecure. So we are so excited that Tracy has joined our group. And I can say, as a mom of a son who's in hospital with mental illness, that the recreation therapy that they have there is key to him feeling like he can manage day to day, because there's something to look forward to once a week when the therapist comes. So, you know, I really feel that recreation therapy is vital to mental health recovery.
When I grew up in a terribly dysfunctional kind of surrounding, the thing that most young people developed, which you call fun today, is something which I never really knew. Introversion just kept me from taking chances. I wouldn't risk, and the introversion drove me into an isolated, fearful existence in many ways, and how to not be rejected. And rejection was went kind of with my introversion, and that it destroyed so many opportunities, because people like me would not try them. How do you get around that sort of thing?
What I find is, like, all introverts need some sort of social interaction too. No matter how introverted you are, you always need that connection with somebody, right? So with recreation, I feel that, like, it is honestly a trial and error with little small steps, right? You know, just trying new food, right? Something so small can be so significant in the long run, because you find out that you don't like it. That's okay, no worries. There's always something else that you like, right? So same as like recreation, right? Food could be part of it as well. But like, there's always something that you could always try, and you don't like, that's okay, no worries. There's always something else that's there for you. So that's what I find that's like very helpful, right? Being able to like open up to like different things, like something that might be so insignificant can kind of improve and kind of increase the tolerance of like rejection. In recreation therapy, there's like a lot of populations that we do and can work with, right? So let's say that I do work with someone who's a lot older, right? Obviously you can always bring back moments in the past. Like the other day I was talking to Kathy, and technology kind of lets us have that social belonging, that social connection. And she was talking about we were talking about like this echoing thing with you know how when there's two microphones going on, there's like this echo, right? So Kathy was like surprised, and it brought back good memories of Scotland, right? And she's in the cave, and I was like, do you mean this one? And I just kind of searched it up on the internet, and then we watched the video, and she's like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I gave her that like nice surprise, right? So in rec therapy, you can always bring back moments where you feel like you went somewhere, you belong somewhere, and like that feeling will resonate with you like throughout the day. So it'll make you happier throughout the day, right? So like having that emotion and that feeling, you know, like you can always do something like that. Versus let's say if you're working with someone who's younger, you can always introduce new things to them, right? Recreation therapy is not like a still point, right? Where just bring back old things. No, like you can actually bring new things into the table and introduce, like, even if you're 60, 80, doesn't matter how old you are, you can always learn new things, right? And helping that fine motor skill, you know, keeping your brain alert.
It focuses in a sort of a subtle way on gaining expression from those who don't even maybe know what they're expressing, but but it comes out, you know, and makes a difference in a life. So anyway, for all that's worth, don't know where it came from, but sounded interesting.
There's one client of mine, and he is an extreme introvert. Usually I do like a Zoom call so I can see him, or I mostly see like clients and talk to them. But he doesn't feel comfortable being in front of a camera, and he doesn't feel comfortable being even listened to, right? So yesterday was so great because sometimes he just leaves in an hour. He doesn't feel comfortable. After an hour, it's like, oh, I'm gone. But then yesterday we were talking for 2 hours straight, and he was like opening his mic. He was happy. He was like showing me links. You know, he felt confident, and small steps like that kind of like builds a person, and he feels connected. He feels like he belonged. He felt like confident. He felt independent, you know, like small builds to like kind of reach his goal. Him sharing things that he normally don't in like social group interactions, he shared with me because he felt that connection, that bond. And it was so nice to see, and him just opening up. It's like, oh, I used to do this. And then he would show me pictures, and I was like, this is amazing. Like, this is so much fun. This is great. And he was like super interactive. And then past the 2 hours, he was just like wanting to talk more. And I was like, I cannot not stop him. Like, he just wants more. So it was just so nice to see when someone who's like very introverted, keeping themselves, you know, like everything to themselves, and just like releasing some energy towards you. And it was so nice to see, and actually him expressing himself in different ways. It was very, very interesting and fun, and felt so grateful that he did share those things with me. And it does, like, rec therapy does impact people.
What are some trends, you know, where is it going with this type of work, this type of therapy, really?
I think that one of the things that she was doing in the past was also doing physical activities like walking and stuff like that. I think that being in nature is an awesome way, because you are very easily in the moment when you take a walk in the forest, because you know it's all around you, and you just the fresh air from the trees and stuff, the extra oxygen just calms you down. And I find that that's been really helpful to a lot of people who can't get out. That would be something that we will continue to focus on in the future when our small groups can meet and go again.
Yeah. Where do you think it's all going, Tracy? You know, trends are important. I think they're only important in that somehow we can bring them into the moment, but where do you see it going?
I think rec therapy will be around for a very long time, because there's always people that you just need rec therapy in all different settings, right? Like I said, in rec therapy, you can find them in hospitals, in the community, in private, right? Whether you're working with autism, right? Whether you're working with seniors, there's like baby boom, right? So there's going to be a lot more rec therapy soon.
Rec therapy is definitely going to become more and more prevalent in our society. I think that people are feeling more isolated as we become more technical with computers and stuff like that, but people need human touch and human contact. So I think that rec therapy is a good opportunity to get people socializing, even just one or two people. I think that it grounds them and it makes people feel healthier. And I think having fun is really important. We've lost our sense of fun, and I think rec therapy kind of reconnects us to that, you know, connects us to finding a hobby that we enjoy. And, you know, it's kind of like Tracy said before, a trial and error, figuring out what we do like, because most of us don't know what we like, because we haven't had a chance in the past to just sit down and have the time to develop hobbies. But now with people having more free time, or having an illness and having the free time, they need to learn what hobbies that they enjoy. And so I think that rec therapy is a great opportunity for them to explore different things, to find out what exactly they do like. And like Tracy found that badminton was a great place for her to break out of her isolation. And I think that that's true with a lot of our clients, our kids. We need to find out what they find really exciting so that they'll work at it. If there's something meaningful that draws them in, then they'll stay engaged, and staying engaged is what keeps us healthy.
What comes to mind when people are talking is the word purpose. How do we get that, number one, the want for purpose, and when the want is there, again, how would you go about finding that, and then working with the possibility, I guess, of bringing that to a reality state for the person, for the client,
The intention is, like, honestly, everything that we do, there's always a purpose in everything we do, right? So for instance, one of my clients, right, is really just trying to find himself. Like, where does he belong in all of it? Like, where does he belong in the world, right? And the worst part about it is, like, I see so much potential, like so much potential in him, and he can talk, he can do, like, he has great social skills, he is physically able, right? He's, like, strong, he's tall, he's great, right? And the worst part is, like, he doesn't know it himself.
Yeah.
So, and, like, that's what I find, that, like, there's so many things that people, like, have, like these strengths that they have, and the worst part is, like, they just don't recognize it themselves, right? And, like, as a recreation therapist, like, what my biggest thing is like trying to let them see what they have. My clients have social anxiety, right? And they cannot be outside for about 30 minutes to an hour, and they just feel like they just want to turtle up, right? They just want to shrivel up and just want to go home, right? But then there were times where, like, they're so in the zone and they're like, oh, I want to stay more, and just bridging that gap, right? So that tolerance, and just having people around and getting used to it, and all these things, and you see it, and you're kind of helping them, like, take steps, like, one little bit at a time, and actually following through in what they have, right? And seeing that they're doing okay, right? Like, having that social anxiety, and look at them, like, just being in the zone, being with people, being, like, doing stuff that they like, and just breaking that barrier with them, and just being with them sometimes is like what they need.
Maggie, you'll be one of the founders of Home on the Hill?
Yes, Kathy and my husband and one other person were the main founders, and it's because we have children with serious mental illness that we care enough to make changes where we feel there isn't enough being done, and that's why we came upon Tracy through a lot of good luck, and seeing a lot of improvement in our clients, because they are starting to engage, and they are starting to actually form relationships with the other people in the group, and starting to care about each other. And that's, like, so big, because we're having friends before, and so this is such an important thing with our group, is that they feel isolated and alone, and they don't have anyone their own age to hang out with. So this is so important to them that we have the recreation therapy, and a lot of them are missing the physical aspect of the recreation therapy. And I'm hoping that this COVID gets better soon, so that we can get back to those kinds of activities, because those are the ones that really are keeping our kids healthy.
What about you, Tracy? Any last words?
It's really grateful that I had the opportunity to speak with you, Scott, and being on there. And Maggie has been nothing but great, and Home of the Hills have honestly been amazing. And, like, all the people that I've met, like, all the support that we get is just truly, like impactful and influential, and it's I don't know how I'm like
Life changing.
yeah, I'm speechless because honestly, Home of the Hills, they're trying to do something that is almost like impossible, right? Like you imagine something like so impactful to somebody, like making friends and doing all these things for people, you know, like how amazing is that? Like you don't see, you know, every other person doing that. Like Home of the Hills is not every other person. We are special, and
You love people, yeah.
and we just love people.
You deal with love only, you can only be successful.
Yeah.
Anyway, ladies, on that wonderful note, I'm going to have to say, well, thank you both very much. Thank you for Home on the Hill. Thank you, Tracy, for a great introduction to rec therapy. Thank you both very, very much. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.